Have a resolution here tonight, 13-7-2. I think you've got a copy of it. It's placed on your desk tonight. Resolution by the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee, designating July the 28th, 2013 as Day of Prayer in our schools in Wilson County. I'm not going to read all this, but this is sponsored each year by the Kiwanis Club, and this time each year we adopt this as a commission for a Day of Prayer. This year it is the 28th. So I make a motion that we adopt this resolution for the 28th of July as Day of Prayer in Wilson County Schools.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Thank you, Rich. Report of the Minutes Committee. Commissioner Abercrombie.
Mr. Chairman, there are 2 sets of minutes in your packet tonight, June 17th and July 2nd. I move they be approved.
Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Reading of the minutes?
Also, Mr. Chairman,
sorry.
Just prior to this meeting tonight, the minutes committee met again, and those minutes will be in your packet next month.
Thank you, Commissioner Abercrombie. Reading of the minutes?
Move we dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Any discussion? And all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Communication from the chair. Scared me a little bit. Not long ago, we engaged in the pay plan. And of course, Ms. Sullivan left us towards the end of that stream. And, you know, we had 2 or 3 goals really in mind. Number 1 and foremost was to get our county employees a step increase every year. Mr. McFarland and some others had just linked that to an evaluation, which seemed fine. We also wanted to look at those that were underpaid, that we've been compared to from inter-county and externally. My only communication to you tonight is that you would, and I know several of you have already brought this up, but that you would consider our employees as you look at next year's budget. Hopefully maybe something could be done. I understand the extension that we were going out with the pay plan was very extensive. It was something that couldn't be adopted this year, but step increase would be something that could happen. So I just urge you to look at that and consider that as you consider the budget. The elections and appointments, Mr. Goodall, are there any additions to the notary list? They're all good, so do you hear a motion to approve the notary list? Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Tonight you have several elections in front of you. There will be some nominations given to you by various boards or chairmen, but the elections are totally yours. There will be your call from top to bottom here, so we will get started with these. The first one that you will be voting on or electing will be the Wilson County Library Board. A copy of the letter recommending Mr. Jim Mills has been placed in your packet from Ms. Diane Weathers, Chairman of the Wilson County Library Board. A brief bio in there, and someone had asked also to have the number of years of service. So that has been included, so this time I'll entertain a nomination or a motion.
I'll nominate.
Nominate Mr. Mills. Okay. Any nomination cease? Do I hear a motion for nominations to cease and elect by acclamation Mr. Jim Mills? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? So I go back and hear the noes out loud, please. Mr. Thomas, Ms. Patton, Mr. Clariday, 3 noes. Mr. Keith, 4 noes. Any Rich? 5 noes. All right, for the record. The next one would be the Stones River Regional Library Board. Used to be called the Highland Rim Regional. There's 1 member to be elected to serve on the Stones River Board tonight. A copy of the letter recommending Ms. Peggy Simpson. This one also came from Ms. Diane Weathers, the chair of the Wilson County Library Board. It was included in your packet. Do I hear a nomination or a motion?
Move to be approved.
Okay, approved. I have approval in a second. Cease of nominations. Anybody else? Hearing none, then I hear a motion for nominations to cease and to elect Ms. Peggy Simpson. by acclamation. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? No. I got Matt Thomas says no. One else. Board of Education, Zone 5, Member 1. At the end of this process, tonight, we will invite the new school board member down to the front and address the commission if they would like to. You can also administer the oath at that time if they would like to as well. You do not have to do that. At this time, we'll be appointing one member to serve on the Wilson County Board of Education for Zone 5. We'll be using the process that's outlined in your rules of order, Rules 32A and 32B, in accordance with the state law. Of course, the individual elected tonight must reside within Zone 5, which is Districts 5, 6, 15, 17, and 19, and meet the qualifications the state law provides, and will serve until August 2014, unless I'm correct. Is that correct? That is correct. At this time, I will turn to County Attorney Mayor Jennings and let you go the process of how this will work tonight.
What we have done in the past, in looking at our rule and also the state law, the nominations have to come from a member of the county commission. It does not require a second. Folks in the audience can be given a chance to recommend someone, and the county mayor can also advise whether or not he's had anybody mention to him that would like to be nominated. If that person is nominated or recommended from the floor, they have to be here to say that they will accept if elected, and or they can submit a written statement saying they will do that. What we have done in the past, and seems to work pretty well, is that we vote by paper ballot. Sandra will distribute the ballots and collect them, and the tally will be called out, not the tally, but the votes will be called out and then tallied. If one person, the winner will have to get 13 votes. If on the first ballot someone does not get 13 votes, then what we've done in the past is if there are more than 2 candidates, we would drop off the list vote and then proceed on to the second ballot. But someone has to get 13 or more votes than one in the state. So, having said that, cover it.
I think so. Any questions that we have, Commissioner Justice? No questions? Anyone with questions? Commissioner Glover? Nope. Okay. At this time, we will need to recess to allow any voters in the audience that would like to make a recommendation to do so. Do I hear a motion to recess?
Yes.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Anyone wishing to recommend an individual to be appointed to the Board of Zone Education, Zone 5, please step to the podium in the back at this time and state your name and address and the individual you wish to recommend.
My name is Steve Johnson. I live in Zone 5, and I would like to recommend myself.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Steve Johnson. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Patrick Johnson. I live here in Lebanon, 2004 Arlington Road. I'd like to recommend Brian Keith Alexander, who is a native of, who lives in Zone 5, raised here in Wilson County. Also, family that is retired principals and educators here in the state, here in the city of Lebanon, Tennessee. Brian Keith Alexander.
Brian Keith Alexander. And your name, sir? For the record.
Patrick Johnson.
Thank you, Pastor. Anyone else? Seeing none from the floor, I hear a motion to go back into regular session. Second. All in favor say aye. And opposed? The floor is now open for nominations. Commissioner Glover?
Nominate Benny Jennings, Jennings District, he's in District 19.
Ms. Sandra, will the names be on the screen?
It will, mostly.
And we'll put the names on the screen when we finish here, okay? Thank you. Commissioner Justice?
Mr. Sheldon Gardner.
Ms. Sandra, you get Sheldon Gardner? Sheldon Gardner? Commissioner Keith?
My district also lies in Zone 5, and in speaking with Commissioner McFarland and Commissioner Rich, we'd like to nominate Larry Thomas.
Thank you. Any other nominations to come before this committee tonight? Seeing none at this time, we will ask that all nominations to cease, and we will pass out our ballot. You will vote for one. Please remember that you must sign the ballot. Mr. Abercrombie, if you would come forward, please, and help us count. Mr. Thomas?
Could we possibly get each three of the candidates that are here, I'm assuming, if they would like to say anything to the...
I do not have any trouble with them if they would limit it to 3 minutes. I think that's what we've talked about in the past. I'm hearing that the commission would like to see that, and so if any of the three would like to step up to the back at this time and speak, we'll allow you to do so. From the back. If you were nominated, and there were 3 of you there. Mr. Jennings?
Me, and last 22 years that I was teaching, I was with the Wilson County School System, 11 years at Lebanon High School, 11 years at Wilson Central High School, where I retired this past June. And my reason for running, number one, as an educator and as spent 22 years in our system, I would like to be able to give my expertise from in the past to Dr. Sutherland and help him as far as advancing the school system even more than what we have been. And we have made great strides in the last few years, but I foresee even better in the future. I would also, one of the things that I would like to do, I've always had a very good relationship with the students, and a lot of students say adults don't listen to them. And I would like to give a voice to the students. I know many of the students who have contacted me in the last week or so, and they said they would really enjoy having somebody on the board who would listen to them and not just their parents. And I would also like to see, I've talked to a few commissioners, and they would like to see better communication between the school board and the commission itself, especially in budgetary matters. And I would see what I could do to make that happen if possible. And one of the other things, as a teacher in the classroom in the last few years, we were mandated by the central office to use technology more and more, but a lot of times we didn't have the access to it. And that is something I know that Mr. Hall has talked to the board about as far as advancement of technology. I had 35 students in the class, only had 28 computers, but under the school board rules, I could not allow the students to use their devices in the class. So therefore, I was having to farm people out to other places to go get this done. So that is one of the main things that I would like to see in the future, is better advancement in the technology area. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings, and could I say to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Alexander in the back that the nominations had to come from this floor up here, so that only 3 people can speak at this time. There are only 3 people that are up for vote, and I appreciate you, though, wanting to be a part and serve in our Board of Education. Mr. Gardner?
Yes, sir, thank you. First, I want to thank you for your time and commitment to all business in Wilson County, and including tonight's decisions. I am seeking the vacant seat to be part of the positive movement of Wilson County Schools. My plans indeed were to run in the next election. The next school board election, I will be working to be re-elected or elected. I'm here for the duration. Since 1999, it has been my passion to serve at Tucker's Crossroads. At that time, we started the PTO there, and I was elected president. As a team, we have accomplished many of our goals and reached even higher. For the school, we have raised an estimated $250,000. In 2004, we started our own sports booster club, and I was elected vice president. We, with the help of the county commission and school board, built the boys' baseball field and the girls' softball field that you can see there today. This was done by all volunteers. I have enjoyed working also at Lebanon High School with the FFA and the SGA. Serving is a passion of mine. I'm an active member at Hillcrest Baptist Church. I serve as Lebanon Public Safety as a CERT volunteer. I serve on 3 committees for Wilson County Promotions, preparing our Wilson County Fair. I have been asked directly if I could work and get along with others on this school board, and yes is my answer to that. My wife Leanne is an EA at Tucker's Crossroads. My daughter Shelby is studying elementary education at MTSU. My son Zach is a senior at Lebanon High this year, and this is hopes to be in the Air Force. My daughter Riley Joe is a third grader at Tucker's Crossroads. And I just want to thank y'all for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Gardner. Mr. Tomlinson?
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the Commission, I'm here tonight to ask for you to support me, and if you see that, and what something that you like to do is for the Zone 5 school board seat that's been vacated. Ladies and gentlemen, I've sat where you're sitting tonight for 12 years. I was a county commissioner. I realize what you have to face every time you come to a meeting, and how that you have to be good stewards of our taxpayers' money. Our school budget makes up probably 2/3 or maybe more of that of our budget here within the county. So I know how important it is to get the money that we need to provide for other services that you all are charged with for having to provide. I realize how important that is. I can remember back when I was sitting where you are now, and I worked with people like Brent Foster and the late W.A. Wright, who were elected by the people. When I got on the school board, I served on the school board for 2 terms, which was 6 years. I saw it from a different perspective. We transitioned from an elected superintendent to an appointed director of schools. We were the ones that hired Dr. Jim Duncan. I think that was one of the best things that we ever did when we brought in Dr. Duncan, and we have gone on and we've made progress from that point on. But what I'm here to tell you tonight, the school board and the county commission has got to work together. There's no doubt about that. I realize when you're sitting in a school board position that you see needs that are there for the school system. And we realize that when we're doing that and when we are in that position, we're dealing with the most important thing that we have, and that is our children. And we don't ever need to lose that fact or face that fact that we're having to do that. I hope if you would appoint me tonight that we could continue to do the things that we did when I was on the board in the past, that we could have a good relationship with the county commission, that we all can get along together, and whenever we come to you and we tell you of a need that we have, or Dr. Sutherland has, or he expresses to you what we have to do, that you will have the trust and the confidence in us and what we're telling you, that that's what we actually need. That's my goal. Also is to do the things that are going to enhance the education system in Wilson County. I have 2 daughters that were educated in our public schools in Wilson County. I have a vested interest in it now because I have 4 grandchildren that are in the school system. So I do have a vested interest in it. I look forward to serving the people of Zone 5 and the people of Wilson County, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I have 3 names in the hopper here. I'd like to see if you have any questions before we move forward. Let me get those first, and then I will get to you. Mr. Thomas, did you have anything else you'd like to add? No?
No, just if the county attorney, all criteria are satisfied from all 3 that we know of.
Commissioner Glover?
Can we go out of session, let the 2 special events Mr. Johnson see?
We do not have to go out of session. Mayor Jennings, you speak to that, please.
I believe you're about to have a motion.
I want to make a motion to reopen the nominations to allow me to put these 2 in on the ballot.
I got a motion.
That's the right to put them on the deal. You know,
Need to take a vote, though, is that
we
correct?
do. Yeah. You take a vote.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Hearing none, let the record reflect it was unanimous. At this time, we will add 2 names to the ballot.
I'll
Still
nominate,
got to be nominated.
Okay?
I'll nominate both Steve Johnson and Brian Hunt.
Can one commissioner nominate 2?
You can. You probably ought to do it in separate.
Okay. I would like to nominate Steve Johnson. I would also like to nominate Brian Hunt.
And no other business needs to be taken care of before we let them speak. Is that right?
Yep.
Any other nomination?
Move nomination six.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Mr. Steve Johnson, would you approach if you'd like to speak?
Yes, sir. I think I'm the only candidate with a AV shoulder. I started off, I had 33 years, and I recently retired in December of 2012. Had a Bachelor of Science in Memphis State to teach art K through 12. I spent 4 years in Memphis City Schools. I have a master's. I moved up to Fayetteville, Arkansas. I have a master's degree from the University of Arkansas, Fayetteville. I spent 12 years teaching and administration outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas, at a town called Springdale. I have 17 years in Wilson County with 8 years as assistant principal of Lebanon High School. Since retiring, I've taken up painting, which I did before, and I brought a something that I want to show you. This is a painting that I did. It's like very recently. And in this painting, I have captured the atmosphere, the conditions of the cows, the shapes of the cows, what they eat, what they drink. But this doesn't make me a veterinarian. Okay, this makes me a painter, which I had training and experience doing. This doesn't make me a veterinarian because I don't have either the training or the experience to be a veterinarian. Okay, I am hoping that the time has come that we are past this in the, that we are past the point of thinking of Wilson County Schools as a one-room schoolhouse. We have a very complicated system here. We have thousands of students. It's time that we start looking at professional educators to be on the school board. And as retired, I wasn't allowed to run as an educator. I am allowed to run as a retired educator. And I retired, and I would like to do this position. And the reason that I want to do this position is something that I have noticed by looking at the statistics. Looking at the 2010, 11, and 12 statistics, number one, by the end of third grade, there's about 20% of the kids who are no longer engaged in learning. It's not that they can't learn, it's that they're not engaged in the learning. They're not tied in. It doesn't mean anything to them. By the time they reach the 7th grade, that number in Wilson County has gone to 30%. So now you have 30% of the students who are not engaged in learning. And by the time you get to high school, out of every 100 students that enters the high school, about 14 or 15 don't graduate. Now those students, while they're there at the high school, and I was assistant principal at Lebanon High School for 8 years, those are the students that create problems in the high school classroom and keep other students from learning. Now, the way that you can approach this, there's two ways, but we only use one way. And that one way is to suspend those students, or put them in detention, or put them in in-school suspension, or to expel them, or to put them at MAP Academy. All those are negative procedures. The second way that we could do it would be to find ways to get those students engaged. And there are ways out there. The district is using one way now in a computer program called T-Vols, which allows students to be out of school but still get their schoolwork done. And for some students, this is a great process. For others, it's not. What we need is to find a way to engage those 14 or 15 out of every 100 so that they can graduate. Otherwise, what I have noticed since I've moved here and lived here for the last 20 years is that there was one bail bond company when I got here. Now there's 6. We had one little jail when I moved here. Now we have a huge jail. Education is directly attached to criminal behavior. If you can't find a job, if you don't have the skills to have a job, then you're going to commit crime. There is nothing else that connects so directly as those two things. And if I'm on the school board, I am going to bring those procedures, the ways that it needs to be done. I'm going to bring that to the board and to the director of schools' attention. And that is going to be my focus. I want to find a way to make everyone successful. And I know that's pie in the sky. People say there's no way that can happen. But there is a way that can happen. But it's not going to be the same people doing the same things over and over again that's going to make that happen. It's going to take some new people to do it, and the decision is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Alexander?
First, I'd like to say thank you for the nomination and allowing us to speak. My name is Keith Alexander. I'm 45 years old, a resident of Lebanon, Tennessee. I grew up pretty much on Philadelphia Road, which is in the Zone 5 area. I attended Old Carroll, which was pretty much a one-room school for most of us. We would leave the room, go to the cafeteria, get a tray, come back and eat in the rooms. I went from Old Carroll, was one of the first ones to go to the New Carroll, Oakland, which is the school that is presently there. My occupation is I am a 25-and-a-half-year employee of American Airlines. I am co-owner and operator of CAT Services, a landscaping business. And as far as personal ministry, I've been in youth ministry for about 20 years. Several years in Atlanta, Georgia, and now several years here back in Lebanon. I do not have the extensive background as some of the educators have had, but I have had it from the standpoint of working with children through church and youth ministry and youth services. So I'm a little bit different from that standpoint. I am proud to say, even as of yesterday, we were able to celebrate with 3 young men who will be going to college this fall from the Peyton Road Church of Christ. So we are concerned about education and making sure that all our youth are properly educated. Some of my family history, some of you may know, I'm the grandson of the late Harry Alexander. He was principal in Watertown, teacher at Tucker's Crossroads. I'm the nephew of the late Robert Stokes, who was a teacher at MtJuliet High School, as well as principal, I think, at the West Elementary School. Also have 2 aunts that were educators here in Wilson County. So we do have education in our background. Again, I attended Old Carroll as well as Carroll Oakland, and then I finished up with my high school education at the Lebanon High School. So again, I thank you for the nomination and allowing us to speak. Also, I guess to speak to some of the statistics, so far as we know, there's not been an African American on the school board. So we would like to see that representation. The numbers that we have, that about 12% of Lebanon is African American, but yet we don't have the representation. Then about 6% of Wilson County is black as well, or African American. So we're very interested in having representation for the rest of the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Thank all the nominees tonight for stepping forward. This time, you have your ballots already in front of you. The names are on the screen. We ask you to vote for one only. Be sure that you, sorry?
Motion, we go back into session?
We're not in session. All in favor, say aye. We're not in session. We're good. I'll remind you to be sure and please vote for one and one only. The name receiving 13 votes or better will be your candidate. If there's not more than the majority of 13, we will vote again until someone reaches that 13 majority. Please print and sign your name at the bottom of the ballot. It cannot be counted if you do not sign it. And as you're ready, Ms. Sandra will collect the ballots. Thank you, Mr. Marlowe, for keeping us straight, though, but I definitely need it. I don't know about the air. You're right. Sorry for the inconvenience. Mr. Mayor, please pay our bill. We didn't even know that. This time we will read aloud the vote. We are ready to read. If I could have your attention.
Jill Gardner. Jill Gardner. Jill Gardner.
2 for Mr. Gardner.
Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Brian Alexander. Joe Gardner. Larry Thomas. Brian Alexander. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Larry Thomas. Jill Gardner. And Larry Thomas.
Tally the votes. I have 18 votes for Mr. Tomlinson, 4 votes for Mr. Gardner, 2 for Mr. Alexander. Mr. Tomlinson, congratulations. And at this time, if you'd like to come forward and address the commission, you can. If you'd like me to administer the oath of office, we can do that as well.
Come up here.
If you'd like to.
Right here, up there. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, Commission, once again, I want to thank you. I'm very humbled by the vote that you've given me here tonight, and I will do my best to always do the things that I feel like that we need to do for our school system, and I will always do the things that I think that will be in your keeping. Like I said before, this is a very important position that I'm about to assume, simply because that we're dealing with the most important things that we all have in common in this room, and that's our children and our families. I realize that it's an awesome responsibility, and I promise you that I will do everything that I can to faithfully serve our county and our school system. I look forward to working with our board and our new director of schools. And Mr. Chairman, I would love for you to go ahead and administer the oath of office for this tonight, because I want to hit the ground running in the morning.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank y'all very much, and I certainly appreciate your confidence, and I hope I never do anything to betray that.
Mr. Thompson, if you will turn around and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Larry Tomlinson,
I, Larry Thomas,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will perform with fidelity
I will perform with fidelity
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
to which I have been elected
to which I have been elected
and to which I am about to assume.
and which I am about to assume.
I do solemnly swear to support the constitutions
I do solemnly swear to support the Constitution
of Tennessee and the United States,
of Tennessee and the United States,
and to faithfully perform the duties of office
and faithfully perform the duties of office
as a Board of Education representing Zone 5
of the Board of Education representing Zone 5
of Wilson County, Tennessee.
of Wilson County, Tennessee.
Congratulations. Again, thanks to all those that were willing to put their name on the ballot. Appreciate that. This time, we would also now turn our attention to the Roads Commission Zone 4, one member. Next on the agenda is to elect that person. We will be using paper ballots for this election also. The floor is now open for nominations for road commissioners. Commissioner Ash. Mr. Jeff Jones, nominee. Any others? Zone 4 represent, Mr. Jones, you're in that one now. Can you tell him what district that represents?
21, 23, 13, 3, and 11. Yeah.
Mr. Clarday, anything else? I have Mr. Jones for one nomination. Do I have any others? Thomas?
Are these different, they need a second, or am I mistaken? If I'm not, I'm glad to second.
You go ahead second if you want to.
Second. I heard a motion for nominations to cease. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this time, and I would ask that you, do I hear a motion that Commissioner Jones be elected by acclamation? And a second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. And opposed? Board of Zoning Appeals, one member here for this board. Board of Zoning Appeals to be elected tonight, Ms. Diane Weathers, who currently holds that position. She is in that position because of the late Mr. Larry Lavorne. She filled that service. She has been a long-term alternate there in that position. My office checked with Mr. Bobby Sloan regarding the position, and he said that Ms. Weathers had an excellent attendance, very knowledgeable of the responsibilities and county regulations. Her bio was placed in there per Mr. Bobby Sloan. This time, do I hear a motion or any nominations for the Board of Zoning Appeals?
Motion be approved.
I got a motion and a second. And I'm assuming we've nominated Ms. Weathers as one candidate. And I hear a motion for nominations to cease for another name. Mr. Clarday?
Is she on the Board of Zoning and Zoning Appeals?
It's same.
Oh,
The same thing.
Technically, it's a nomination.
I got a motion to nomination to cease from Mr. Murray. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye. And opposed? Okay. We got one abstention back here. And you've got a no. Mr. Clarday? I mean, Mr. Thomas is no. Okay. Ms. Patton's no. So I've got 4 no's and the rest are yes. I got 1 abstain and 3 no's. The rest are yes for Ms. Weathers. So we will nominate her then as to continue that board. Any other discussions about the nomination? Ms. Patton?
I'd like to explain that my no votes for some of these committees to the general public and to the commissioners, that I have requested that that we look at how long certain people have been on more than one or two committees, 3 or 4, whatever. And so until that is resolved, or the Rules Committee meets to help with this situation so that we can open the floor to more public, more people to be able to maybe participate in county government, my vote will be no. So I just want to pass that information along to anyone who thinks it may be some personal issue with myself and the person who's up for election. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. Mr. Justice?
If you would need a motion for the mayor to, I know there's been a lot of talk amongst the commissioners about adding members to the school board. intended on doing this before the meeting tonight, or the beginning of the meeting, but I wonder if the mayor could charge maybe a committee to research. Should we add members to our school board? Are we underrepresented? Are we overrepresented? And how many members, if we should add, do we add? And I'll be happy to serve on that committee, but I do not want to chair it.
Anything particular there?
Well, that would be, it would come under one of the special committees, probably have a part of the resolution next time.
So we would spell it out in the resolution, bring it back and have it passed, and then we would go forward with the research.
Could we just say, you're going to appoint a committee and they're going to, can we just appoint a committee and we're going to research it until we're done researching it and we're going to bring a motion or not a motion to the floor? Maybe a 7-member committee?
I do not have issues with that. We've done that before, but I don't know about in this particular situation. Are you looking at it?
Yeah, why don't you vote, you look that up.
We'll come back to that tonight, okay? Any Commissioner Stafford?
It's along the lines with Commissioner Justice. I'd like to serve on that committee as well, being that I kind of sort of had my foot in that a little bit last year, and I'd like to keep my foot in it if it's possible. And also, along with what Ms. Cyrus said, I'd like to change my vote on the last person that was nominated due to the fact it was Ms. Patton said in regards to being able to have more than same people on the same committees. I think it's time to kind of stir up the pot a little bit. So I'm going to change my vote to a no. Nothing personal against Diane Weathers. I think she's a fine lady, but I just think it's time for us to include more people in this county.
The minutes are on your desk, and I move they be approved.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Emergency Management Director report, Director Jewell.
Also, Mayor, while he's coming, can I please speak?
While he's on his way, John and I have had our differences, but I cannot explain or say how professional he has been to my family and I the last day and a half. His guys have been awesome. He's basically been right there, and I'm not saying that he's doing that because I am a county commissioner. It displays to me that this is what they would do for anyone that was in the situation that my family is in right now. And I would just publicly like to let you know how much I appreciate you and your department for all that you all have done for us. And we just can't say enough. So I just really want you to publicly know I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it is a difficult situation. It's trying for everyone. The challenge is to try and bring these things to a closure. We had approximately 20, 25 people out there today. The effort is fielded by the Sheriff's Office, and we are supporting them. We're anticipating some improvements in what we do tomorrow as this thing expands. And so I'll let Robert elaborate on that but I appreciate that. It's certainly a very important thing that we try to discuss. You have my numbers and my reports. One other note I will pass along to you in working with the new MtJuliet Fire Chief, City Manager, Mayor Hutto. We are approaching a September 15th date of being able to provide medical services from that new MtJuliet Fire Station. They are discussing a September 30th date of on-the-ground fire support. So we are anticipating being a bit ahead of the station is virtually completed. They have granted us bunk rooms in that area and office space, and we are anticipating being able to move along. Along that line, we are in a hiring sequence now at the agency that includes the 6 additional folks that it will require to run that new ambulance out of MtJuliet South Station or Station 1. And it also includes the replacement of 5 people that we have lost, primarily to Metro, as they upgraded their services considerably, and several of the agencies across Middle Tennessee have suffered like we are from folks going with Metro Nashville. So we're needing to hire approximately 8 paramedics. We've got about 8 or 9 apps, and we will also probably be hiring some part-time personnel. I think we've got about 20 or 25 applications for. EMTIVs. That concludes my report. Any questions?
Move forward with second file.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Report from the Law Enforcement Committee, Commissioner Justice. Sheriff's report, Sheriff Ryan.
Once again, while he's on his way, I've pat these guys on the back so hard the last couple of days, probably hurt their shoulder, but once again, I just want to let them know how much I appreciate you guys. I really do. I mean it sincerely from the heart. My aunt and my sister, my mother, and my whole family has been there. So you guys been there, and you do your job, and you know, we need to look deep in our pockets and try to find all these guys a raise, okay? And I'm done.
Thank you, Annette. It is a difficult situation out there we've dealt with since yesterday afternoon. I just want everybody to be assured that we are going to be out there until we find some type of resolution to that. And I appreciate the compliments on me and Director Jewell, but let me say something publicly. It's not just me and John Jewell standing out there. It's y'all's employees of this county. Never ask a question about anything. They're out there in that hot weather, and just moving along like a machine, and I'm proud of them. And like I said, our prayers go out to the family, and we'll continue to work for a resolution on that. Your reports in your packet, a couple of things as usual, sound like a broken record again. And actually, I want to say something a little different. Our population on our inmates actually has went down a little bit. And the reason why that's happening right now is because we're utilizing some of these other county jails across the state to house some state inmates that I've been fussing about. I still ain't got the state inmate at the penitentiary beds that I've been asking for. So that's the way we can get rid of some of them. Other county jails are needing them because they use that revenue as far as the building process of new jails and different things. But them numbers are down, and the typical numbers are up continuously. And like I said, that concludes your report. I'm sorry my phone keeps going off, but I still got people out on the way.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Thank you. Report from Education Committee, Commissioner Stafford.
No report.
Director of Schools report, Dr. Timothy Sutherland. Glad to have you with us.
I cannot tell you how great it is to be here. You should have a copy of my report in your packet. If there are any questions, please contact me, and I'd be happy to answer any of those questions or get those answers. I just want to take a moment and say, folks, you've got a great school district in Wilson County. Every day that I have been on the job, and it's been 10 so far, and every person that I have met has reaffirmed that this is a blessing for me and my wife, and we are proud to be part of this community, and I look forward to working with the staff of this district, the citizens of Wilson County, for our children. The hearts that people have demonstrated to make me feel welcome, and the excitement that's in the schools. I just want you to know that I have been driving the county, visiting with principals in their schools rather than in my office, because nothing happens in my office. It all happens in the schools, and I know that. But have been out there. Still have some more trips to make this week, burning up the miles, but great things going on. Teachers in the classroom already working to be prepared for students as we open school on August 1st. Looking forward to meeting with our new teachers on the 23rd, and we're going to welcome over 200 new teachers to Wilson County, and we're excited about that. We think that they've chosen an excellent place to work and build a career. I would like to invite everybody that's here, especially the county commission members. We will have a joint meeting tomorrow evening at the Board of Education office on Stumpy Lane at 5:30 to present our budget to the Education and Finance committees. We're doing a joint meeting so that it's two birds with one stone, if you will. But we'll be presenting the budget that the board approved last Monday to those committees tomorrow evening. We would welcome anybody who would like to attend. Commissioners, you're welcome. We'll feed you. Not in the school system's dollar, it has been donated, but would submit that as my report and an invitation for you to see it tomorrow evening. Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. HR Director's report, I have laid a official report on your desk for you to look at. If you have any questions, you can contact Ms. Bethany there in the office. It has been very busy between her and County Attorney Jennings and our office as well, handling HR situations, but we have done that. We have the process of 29 applicants, and we're working through those. We have selected a committee, and we'll be working through that process over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I hear a motion to approve that report. Any discussion, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? The rest of your deeds report, Mr. Bill Spicker.
Mr. Mayor, County Commissioners, fellow Wilson County, and Dr. Settler, welcome to Wilson County, sir.
Thank you.
Register of Deeds yearly report from 1st of July 2012 to the June the 30th, 2013. Your Register of Deeds turned in $636,075.77. That's everything paid. That's all gravy, all cream to the county, to Mr. Jim Maker's office, trustee. We're $171,917.36 as we speak now, ahead of last year. And we had a good year last year. We currently have 157 customers on the internet, which brings in $48,000 a year. We sent the state of Tennessee, when I say we, the Register of Deeds office, Wilson County Register of Deeds office, sent the state of Tennessee on mortgage taxes. We sent those people $4,145,878.19 to the state 1 year. That ends Register of Deeds report.
Who's broken single file?
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Mr. Spicker.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I also like to wish the new school director a good result. I put on your desk this morning a copy of your checking account, which you have a little over $37,708,000 in your present account. We have collected out of a possible $81,106,969 in your 1912 taxes. We've collected $77,338,200, or 95%. And we still have 8.5 months left to collect the remaining balance. So by the time I turn these taxes over to the clerk and masters for April 1st, we will have collected, just like we did last year and several previous years, a little over 99% of all the taxes owed to Wilson County. That's my report.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Majors. Road Superintendent report, Mr. Armstead.
Mr. Mayor, County Commissioners, I would also like to welcome Dr. Snow to the school system of Wilson County. I've met him. I feel very comfortable. He's going to do a good job. I really hope he does. Thank you. With our weather situation being as bad as it's been this year with all the rain and stuff we've had a lot of problems with just getting started. We've had a lot of trees blow down and last little bit just by wind blowing. I mean, the water is soaked the ground so bad, it's just letting it fall over everywhere. We've got about 10 miles paved. That's a pretty good start for the amount of weather we've had. We've got a lot of weeds grown up around the county that we're vigorously trying to get cut. We've got trees growing everywhere. they're using the water also to grow, but we're staying pretty busy. That's pretty much my report.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Armstrong. Property assessor report, Mr. Pratt.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Clerk, members of the County Commission, my fellow Wilson Countyans, as always, it's my intention to provide an accurate accounting of the property assessor's role, an accurate summary of information, improve dialogue and insight into our office. As of July 15th, the total real property parcels in Wilson County was 54,030. Total assessed value property in Wilson County, real property in Wilson County was $2,861,971,520. Tangible personal property assessed value was $135,574,746 for a total assessed value, real and personal, not counting any public utility, of $2,997,546,266. We're staying busy. We're starting to see some pickups in the west end of the county. We're still out there every day assessing property and picking up new growth and hopefully putting it on the books, helping you all out. But it's just a privilege and an honor to get to serve as your assessor. I will, Commissioner Justice, want to make one comment about the air conditioning. I know it's a little warm in here, but I believe there's a peach orchard out at Dr. Crossroads. Might be a little bit hot. So I'm proud to be here. I'm privileged to get to serve as your assessor. But barring any questions y'all might have, that concludes my report.
Move forward, save the file.
Have a motion and a second. Mr. Rich, Commissioner Rich has a question.
Mr. Pratt, I know y'all just finished up the equalization board in June. That go well this year, about how many people did you have and how did it go?
Commissioner Rich, I appreciate you asking that. This was the smoothest year we've ever had for the County Board of Equalization. We had about 35 folks appeal their property value. Actually, some of those were corporations that had sent tax reps in here to do it on their behalf. So it was down from what it's been years past because we hadn't had a reappraisal year. We don't have that again to 2016. But your County Board of Equalization, the 3 members that you appoint, the one from the city of MtJuliet and the one from the city of Lebanon, really worked well with those folks that come through there. And I want to congratulate them because they do a good job and really did a good job of listening to people's needs. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you asking that question.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Pratt. Veterans report, Mr. Bernie Ash.
Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners, our report is in your packet. Take a look at it. The highlights are we served 734 veterans and their family members for the quarter ending in June. We received a check from Lockingard for the park and museum for $5,000. We're very grateful. We also received a check for $1,000 from the Wood Track and Rodeo. We continue work. We also raised $2,705 in our honor ride for veterans. We had 150 motorcycles. Everything went very smooth. That concludes my report. Unless you have any questions.
Move forward, save the file.
There's second. Commissioner Justice. Sorry, Commissioner Jones.
I just want to say that I had the opportunity to ride on that track, and I appreciate you and your office and the committee that y'all done put that together. There was a lot of folks there, and I know it'll keep on growing, and it's a good thing for the community, and I appreciate you doing that.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Circuit Court report, Ms. Linda Neal called this afternoon and she said she had not closed her books and would ask if you would defer her report until next month and then she would be back in line on the quarterly report. So she would have it all together. Do I hear a motion to defer that report? A second? All in favor say aye. Opposed? No. Got one no. Report from the Public Works Committee, Commissioner Keith.
Mr. Chairman, Public Works Committee met on Monday, June 24th. Minutes on the packet, unless one has some questions, make motion to be approved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Agriculture Center Management, Commissioner Joines. Animal Control, Commissioner Marlowe.
Animal Control had a meeting July 11th at 4:30 here at the conference room at Courthouse. Minutes are in your packet. I move they be received and filed.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Back tax, Commissioner Hall.
No report.
Cable Television, Commissioner Weston. Development Tourism, Commissioner Thomas.
Mr. Chairman, the Bill Tourism Committee met June 25th, and that's in your packet. Barring any questions, move that they be received and filed.
Got a motion to approve? Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Finance, Commissioner Murray.
Finance Committee met Tuesday, June 20th at 6:30 p.m. Those minutes are in the packet. I move there. Be received.
Do I hear a second? Dial on me now. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you. Health and Welfare, Commissioner Bannock. Seeing none. Insurance, Commissioner Rich. He's still on vacation. Judicial. Judicial, Commissioner Keith.
Mr. Chairman, the Judicial Committee met on Thursday, June 20th, here at the courthouse, and return the packet. If one has some questions, make motion to be approved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. I'm sorry. Discussion, Commissioner Thomas.
I think I saw in the minutes, Mr. Keith, that there was a grant that we lost. What was that, the state probation? State probation grant? What, any particular reason? We didn't use it.
Any other questions for Commissioner Keith? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Murray.
No report.
Recreation, Commissioner Rowland.
No report.
Rules, Commissioner Ash.
No report.
Urban Type Facility Board, Commissioner Rowland.
Urban Type Public Facility Board met on Friday, July the 12th. We have also that in your packet.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. And opposed? Finance Director's Report, Mr. Aaron Maynard.
Couple of quick highlights tonight for those people that serve on the insurance committee. I just want to say that we did make it through the year without having to put any more money into the insurance fund this year. And that your leadership is tremendously appreciated. And I know that is a sometimes underappreciated position. And it's a tough job. And I want to thank you guys for doing what you do. We are still working on closing the books, but I can report that we're going to wind up somewhere right in the neighborhood of 1.7 million in revenues over expenditures for the year. Don't get too excited. Obviously, we still have to do next year's budget. So that usually winds up with revenues exceeding expenditures, expenditures exceeding revenues a little bit. I'm working on that budget now. I hope to have it done, the preliminary version done by the end of the week. And that is all. Well, one other thing, when we talk about pay raises, and we should talk about pay raises. One group of people that never gets mentioned are the 25 people, 24 tonight, the 25 people sitting in this room. When I get abused, I get paid for it. Sometimes we misuse the term public servant. I'm an employee of Wilson County. I'm not necessarily a public servant, as opposed to you guys who truly, practically, for all intents and purposes, don't get paid for what you do. And you take a tremendous amount of abuse at times. So I look at doing something for this body at the same time that you do something for the rest of the employees, because you do have an extremely difficult job. So any questions for me?
Hear a motion to approve report. And a second.
Second.
Commissioner Justice.
I just wanted to open loud and talk about what we propose to do with the budget process this year.
Yes, sir.
And I want to say, if anybody has any comments, questions, or suggestions, if you'll email, if you can't make it to one of the meetings, if you'll email it to me, I'll bring it to the meeting for you. But
As I understand, we're gonna try to meet, of course, we're meeting tomorrow night.
Yes.
At the school board office, and we're gonna try to meet next Tuesday. Time is undetermined at this point, but we'll try to get it out pretty quick. And that
Yes.
would be to pretty much accept the budget, is that right? Already.
At that point in time, I will have a budget together, including revenue projections for you guys to look at, and then begin to start considering needs. And I know you'll want to have a meeting where people can come in and present their needs. They usually do that.
If you can't make it to the meeting, just please send an email or something, that way we got time to come in and get the question answered.
Any other questions from Mr. Maynard? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Maynard. For the Budget Committee, Commissioner Justice.
Budget committee met July 2nd, 7 o'clock here in the courthouse. Minutes are in the packet.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Resolutions now on the Audit Committee.
That day, we can't put members in the office. Okay. That'd be the only thing I could. I mean,
You'll recall, this resolution that Commissioner Justice is about to submit to you, we passed last month a resolution establishing an audit committee. I sat down and drafted what I thought was okay. I just started talking into my machine. I got the rolling pretty good, and I thought it looked pretty good, except the comptroller's office wanted me to put a little bit more in there. So you actually adopted a resolution last month. This is the comptroller's addition. And what Mr. Justice and Mayor Epco were discussing, you'll see at the bottom of the first page there, resolution 1371, that we were going to elect 5 members of this committee at the July meeting of the commission. We obviously can't do that since this is the July meeting, so that needs to be changed to August. We were going to elect that committee tonight at the comptroller accepted my resolution.
So we will add that as an amendment. We'll pass the resolution tonight and then come back to you in August with the members of that committee. Is that correct? You want to wait till we have discussion to bring it up, Mr. Bradshaw? Or you want to talk about it ahead of time? Sir? Just get it on the floor.
13.7-1 is the resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Wilson County, Tennessee to establish an audit committee. So
You got a second. Now discussion, Commissioner Bradshaw.
On the members, will we do this from the floor next month, or is that mayor, are you selecting and then the commission voting, or what's the process on the 5 members?
If you look at the top of the second page, the members shall be recommended by the mayor and confirmed by a majority vote of the Wilson County Commission. It's on the top of the second page of the resolution.
Okay, because I asked the question last month and the month before, whichever, it came to the table, someone made a motion that we the commission would be deciding the CPA and the bank. So that's why I didn't understand. And that was approved. So where that was going to come from, if it's coming to you, I know we need to vote and approve, but is that still the process on them?
And this is set up by the comptroller's office, no, that's correct.
This is the comptroller's, the comptroller's approved this resolution. As it's set up now, Commissioner, the county mayor would recommend 5 members, including the CPA and the other one, and y'all would confirm. It would take up.
Right.
If he doesn't recommend or you don't confirm that.
I'll be glad to take any recommendations, and I'll consult Mr. Maynard as well with the recommendation from the board. Just please email me at any time, and we'll try to get that body ready to come to you. If you do not like who I recommend, and we can go back to the drawing board. I still have some other discussion on this one. Commissioner Jones?
I just want to make the amendment for the elections to be amended to the office.
And a second, all in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Okay, so we'll be there. Commissioner Weston?
This says, the total, is this their resolution, or is it, who wrote this resolution?
Mr. Jennings?
I wrote it, I'm sorry, Mayor. I wrote it, Commissioner Weston, with a terrible lot of input from the comptroller's office. They had a form that they wanted me to use, and that's what we've done.
The comptroller's office, is it available?
Yes, sir. It's July the 3rd of this year to Mr. Aaron Lander. No, this is the one that said the one I did last time was not good enough, so Aaron has had discussion with him. I better
Yeah.
give that question.
Attached to that letter, there was a redraft of our resolution in their format, the way they wanted it done.
Would you like a copy of that, Mr. Weston? Sure. Mr. Mayor, if you get that to Mr. Weston, that would be great. Any other discussion? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? All right, please cast your vote for the resolution. Please record the vote. 24 yes, 1 absent. Before we go into old business, if you could go back and redirect Mr. Justice's question and about the school board, please.
I'm ready to answer that. If you'll look at Rule 36 of your rules of order, it says there shall be 2 types of committees, standing, which is a permanent committee, and special, which is temporary. The commission may create such special committees as the circumstances require, and that's what we're talking about. No special committee shall be created for any purpose when there is a standing committee on the same subject. I looked at the definition for education committee. I really don't think it's broad enough to cover what you want to do, so it's okay to do a special committee.
Is that his charge to me and I do that, or does the commission have a say-so in that?
Well, they'll have to create the committee, and then Rule 35 says you.
So they'll come back next month with a resolution, is that what I hear?
I could do it, I just make a motion to create a committee, so I can get a second, and then ask you, not charge you, but ask you to make the appointment. Is that not correct, Mike?
Yeah, we can do that, I just.
Do we have any new business?
Oh, you did.
Okay. So I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All righty. All in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? Seeing none, I will get a committee together and we will talk if you don't mind. Anyone with any interest in this, please communicate to me what your thoughts are there and I'll work on that committee. Okay? Any old business?
Well, Mayor, can I recommend that if we're going to have to rezone or redistrict, what about the group that done the redistricting a couple of months back? Would that be sufficient?
You're a long way from that.
Oh, I guess I'm kind of.
Yeah. And actually, that would be a different role from what you're talking. This committee would be looking at whether there's a need or not, and so how to implement.
I'm excited.
Old business? Any new business? No public hearing for tonight, so I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye.